Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Elly de la Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it tied to 4.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. This will win it. This will win it. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
1 out, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, he goes one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Welcome, Reds fans, to Chatterbox Reds pregame show. I'm Alex. He's David. We are here to talk Reds Twins tonight and a few other just fun items at the end. We'll talk a little deadline and a little all-star game as the, first ballots were released, if you will, the totals yesterday afternoon, I believe. So looks like we have some work to do from the Reds side. So, David, how are you doing today? Anything crazy going on down in the good state of Georgia?
Well, the Braves are taking on the Mets, the rivals. So hopefully we're starting to come back in the standings when we play against them. So that's what's going on down here.
Well, the last time we had David on the show, David was gracious enough to help us out against Reds Braves. But David, as everyone I'm sure here watching us crazy guys on YouTube are just big baseball fans in general, he was available. And he said, yeah, of course, I'll research the Twins and the Reds on a random Tuesday in June. But before we get to that, let's talk about, on Sunday's game, not yesterday's game, Sunday's game, a rare Monday off for the Reds yesterday. So let's talk about Sunday. What a win for the Reds. It took me back to 2023, David. The Reds finally have a big comeback win late in a game. The game was tied for those who didn't watch it. They came back in the 8th against really the Tigers' closer, It was a Roku game, David. So we had to listen to the Tigers broadcasters, and he was talking about how this guy is really the guy, but they kind of do some swapping in and out between Vest and Canely. And the Reds took it to him. They scored 4 in the 8th, a 2-run homer by Elly in the 9th. Elly's 4th straight game with a home run. But really, the biggest thing was Wade Miley survived. We survived another Wade Miley start. 2 weeks ago, David, I called Wade Miley the next Bronson Arroyo, 2017 Bronson Arroyo. I thought maybe his arm was, or his elbow and his arm and his shoulder were just, duct taped together. But I'm actually been pretty impressed with Wade Miley and what he's been doing. So I'm willing to give it a shot. My 2 cents on him is really, I think they're going to give him 2 bad outings in a row and they pulled the plug on him. But if you haven't listened to a couple shows, David, and I know you and I text a little bit, but we've been discussing Chase Burns as possibly an option. I think they're giving Chase Burns about 2-3 starts at most in Louisville, so that the bats can have Chase Burns bobblehead night in a few years, because he actually played with them. But
yes,
I think he's ready to go. So that's really it. Really, Lux and McLean had good games on Sunday as well. Good to see McLean kind of bouncing back. And I'm going to run through a couple of transactions before we kick it off. David brought some big-time stats for us to review about Andrew Abbott and the lineup. So today's transactions, for those who did not hear, we lost Jacob Hurtubise to the Seattle Mariners off waivers. Just going to cut it real short. David, do you know who Jacob Hurtubise is?
Yeah, wasn't he the guy who got called up against the Braves in that series? Jacob Hurtubise.
I think
so. He was called up when the left fielder ran into the wall, I believe.
Yes. Tyler Callahan broke his arm. Yep. The umpires, for those who don't remember, totally robbed him of a catch. And then Matt Olson had a home run. But yes, Jacob Hurtubise did get called up. To me, he's a middling outfielder, has 0 power, and the only redeeming quality is he's a West Point grad. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but not a big deal to me that he will be playing in Tacoma, Washington for the foreseeable future. The next update was regarding Graham Ashcraft. Graham Ashcraft is on the 10-day IL, 15-day IL. He's on the IL, replaced by Luis May. Not too surprised by this. Ashcraft did give up a couple runs on Sunday, and honestly has not been pitching great. David, do you have any nightmares from Luis May down, I believe, when you watched him pitch live in Atlanta?
We don't like to talk about that one.
Luis that was May the one the Reds won. Okay.
Yeah, Luis May does get to you.
On to the next piece of information. Big time news from one of our good friends off X.com, Mike Petragula. He has reported the following today regarding our Cincinnati Reds. And not word for word, but I'm going to give a little summarized version. Austin Hayes is still having a very hurt foot. He's going to start walking on a water treadmill of sorts and hopes to return. This is crazy, David. He fouled a ball off his foot, and he's been on the IL for like 2 weeks. But they keep saying he'll be back, and it just does not getting better.
Isn't this his 3rd IL stint of the season after signing him over the offseason?
Exactly. So. Yeah, his 3rd IL stint, and now you're kind of starting to see why. Last year it was a freak like kidney issue, and then I think he had something else. But everyone, in April when he came back, everyone was extension. Well, the guy can't stay healthy. It's been soft tissue. It's been this. So I think they also said in the post that he might start hitting a little bit to see how it goes, but hopefully he can come back soon. The next update for a guy who hopefully around this is a better news for us. Noel V. Marte has an MRI scheduled for tomorrow. If he comes back from that and everything's clean, he will go down to Louisville or start a rehab assignment in the minors. And the last piece I have before we jump into the lineup and some fun stats for the Twins and Reds. Terry Francona is not concerned about Andrew Abbott's high pitch count from the last outing when he had his complete game no-hitter against the Cleveland Guardians. He had 110 pitches. So tonight, I'm sure Francona has a keen eye on him, and Derek Johnson won't let him go too wild, but that's where we are at. David, can you go ahead and list off the Reds lineup for us?
Yes. So first off, we got TJ Friedel starting in center field. Then Gavin Lux is DHing tonight in the 2-hole. Elly De La Cruz at short, batting third. Tyler Stevenson behind the plate at catcher. Christian Encarnacion Strand is at third. Will Benson is starting in left after his pinch hit in Sunday's game. Spencer Steer at first, Jake Fraley at right field, and Matt McLean to round out the lineup at second.
And so it's been the lineup we've been seeing. Early in the season, it seemed like everyone was trying to argue with Francona on a day in and day out. Why this? Why that? Why this? Just a couple things that stand out to me, and then I'd like to hear from you on it. Obviously, Elly's on a tear right now, which is just fantastic. Love Will Benson. Love to see him in the lineup. And really, Matt McLean. Matt McLean's been the guy I've been watching the last week or 2 weeks. It seems like he's been getting a couple hits a game. Not every night, but a couple times a week he's hitting 2. And I saw Nick Kirby and Clay Snowden, for those who watched their video a few weeks ago, talked about how from Just Baseball, one of the contributors over there, RM Layton, compared Matt McLean to Tyler O'Neill. Every time since I've heard that, I think it's pretty comparable, different positions, but power, low average. David, I see you shaking your head. I know you know a lot about Tyler O'Neill, and he's been around a while. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great comparison between the two.
So you had some stats for us regarding the Reds lineup and even the Twins. Give us some of those, and what can we be excited about tonight? Some things that maybe have fell under the radar a tad.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Matt McLean in his last 7 games is batting .280, .333, .520 across his slash lines. So pretty decent mix in there with a couple homers, some good RBIs. Does have 6 strikeouts in those 7 games. So balancing out the hits and the strikeouts is a tough one for him. But bigger news, Elly in his last 5 is batting .414, .469, .897, and is currently riding a 4-game home run streak. So as long as Elly gets that next homer for all those betting fans out there, then somebody's going to make some good money tonight. And then Andrew Abbott is currently pitching his best season of his career. He's currently top 5 in ERA in the MLB and top 10 in WAR for pitchers. So Elly is hot. Andrew Abbott is hot. Both of them looking to try and make the All-Star game there. So I think they're both good bets for Cincinnati. And then on the Twins side of things, the Twins hitters don't really have too great averages against Abbott. Only Willie Castro is batting around 300 against Abbott. So, and he's got the highest average and OPS against him. So nothing too dangerous from them. Mm-hmm. But in the past week, Byron Buxton hit the second longest home run of the season at 479 feet. I saw a video where the ball left an imprint of the laces where it was hit to. So
where was that
at? It was in Minnesota.
And so was it left field or right field?
I think it was dead center. They had like a box or something, and I saw where the laces left an imprint. So definitely should be watching out for them. And then on the pitching side of things for the Twins, David Festa is only making his 6th start of the season. He's 1-1 and has a 4.76 ERA.
Well, thanks for the rundown, David. Yeah, I mean, Festa, right-handed bat, the Reds right-handed pitcher. The Reds tend to do a lot better with the predominantly lefty lineup per se. With Friedel, Lux, Elly leading the charge there, and Will Benson, of course. Let me see here. I had something for you. A couple things to note as well. In my notes, I had Ty France and Harrison Bader come back, former Reds, as one of the big famous Reds X accounts, obscure former Reds. I would categorize them as that. See how they do. A couple guys that I'm always enjoy watching from the Twins standpoint and why I love interleague play. And of course, now with it being all year long, it's still, it's just as fun. And we get to watch these guys. It boggles my mind is when I was a kid, or even, I guess, when was that? Less than 6-7 years ago, when we may not even play the Twins or whoever for like 3 or 4 years. This way we get to see the Twins every other year, essentially, in Cincinnati, if you like them. And for so many fans who live in different cities, I think it's a good opportunity as well if you live in the American League city or National League city, what have you. Now, going back to who I like to watch, I've always enjoyed watching Carlos Correa. I always thought he was a fun player to watch. He and Buxton, of course, went 1-2 in the draft when they were drafted. Obviously to the Astros, Correa, Twins, Buxton. Those are their two big time bats. Correa hasn't had a fantastic year, just batting .245 this year, 5 home runs. But the Twins ballpark is big. It's not the easiest to get one out of there. Obviously Great American Ballpark is, but it's been really cloudy and nasty out today. I don't suspect many home runs tonight, though I am rooting for Elly to have 5 in a row. That's really how I have here. I know they're high on Brooks Lee, but really the Twins have had a really kind of disappointing season overall. Now, what do you have? Anything going? Who are the rest of the NL Central facing tonight, David?
So the Cardinals are heading to the south side of Chicago to take on the White Sox. The Cubs and the Brewers are playing their matchup in Chicago, and the Pirates are heading to Detroit to take on the Tigers.
So the Cubs and Brewers added. It's time for the Reds to make a run, win a couple games this week, and go for the division. There's still 7 games out, but really the wild card seems to be the spot where we are at. Overall, the wild card's such a weird thing here. The Reds are only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. Diamondbacks right behind us, and then a big drop off to your Braves. We talked a little bit, and this isn't a Brave show, of course, but such odd that the Braves are that low. With that being said, though, with the Braves being out of it potentially, not yet, but maybe in a week or two, what's the rumblings of some of their free agents to be? Do you see any of those that could be, potential Reds fits come the deadline? I know Nick and for those who haven't seen it yet, Nick and Mike did a show last night. It was posted this morning about the Reds trade deadline. I wanted to get David's perspective of any guys that he thought, maybe the Reds would be interested in these Braves players.
I looked at it as the Reds have a strong left-handed lineup, so they might be looking at a nice big power bat on the right-handed side. So one guy that from the Braves, at least, who fits that build is definitely Marcell Ozuna. He only has 1 year on his contract left, so after this season, he will be a free agent. So it would basically be a rental for the rest of the season of Marcell Ozuna. He's not batting up to his standard that he was last year, but he is still hitting homers and he's drawing a lot of walks. So that would definitely be a good potential add there.
Now, what are the expectations? For a rental, the rental prices have gone way down the last 5, 6, 7 years. I don't think it'd be too much. The only thing I would love Ozuna. It just the Reds DH isn't so crowded, and hopefully one of these guys just breaks through, whether it be CES or Steer, and just has a week or two run. But yeah, I see in the comment TC Thompson. Yeah, Ozuna's old. Yeah, we know that. But excuse me, you're looking for, just a shot in the arm. If the Reds can make a run, that's what they're looking for. A couple of guys I see would be Aaron Bummer, Rafael Montero, just a couple, relievers from the Braves roster. But what we're seeing is this, the deadline is too early because of those extra wild card spots. So there's so many buyers, more buyers than there are sellers right now. So the prices are going to go up. And then of course there's no waiver or that is the deadline, not the waiver deadline. I used to love the waiver deadline back in August 31st. That was just so fun. But they had to take it away from us diehards. The other options, and this is a total kind of just a joke. You and I talked about it before. For those who haven't seen it, Nick Castellanos is pulling a Rafael Devers in Philly. Wouldn't mind seeing Nick Castellanos come back to the Reds. Now, they would have to eat a lot of the contract. But seeing Nick Castellanos hit a couple bombs late in September when the Reds are really in it, with his son cheering from the diamond seats, gotta love it. All right. I think we are at the point now. Let's talk the all-star ballots and what we see. So who are your top guys you would like to see or you think are deserving of a from the Reds for an all-star nod?
I think from the Reds' perspective, I'd like to see Elly make it. I mean, the NL shortstop is so competitive with Lindor and Betts going at it in the top two spots right now for votes. But Elly has been on such a surge and a tear that I think he could make it in as one of those spots. And then when it comes to Andrew Abbott, like we mentioned earlier, he's playing excellent. I would love to get him into the All-Star game. I think he's deserving of that nod there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Andrew Abbott is for sure in. Most of the time when you don't have the notoriety, I was a little surprised to see Elly so low. To be totally frank with you, looking at the votes right now, Lindor's at over 1 million, and Elly just clocks in right over 300,000. So it was Lindor at 1 million, Mookie Betts just shy of 600,000, Trey Turner just shy of 350K, and then Elly at 312,000. Kind of surprised me. I've heard reports of people all over the country really, especially the kids, jumping onto the Elly train. And I was a little surprised to see him that low. But going back to Abbott, I think Abbott's really the only shoe-in at this point for the Reds. Because when you don't have, I see some comments about the voting. Of course, that's voting. It's a popularity contest. They're all the Dodgers, and it's LA and New York basically for the NL. If you don't have that, or it's not like a superstar like the Reds had years ago with Votto and Phillips when they were starting the All-Star game a couple years in a row, you're not going to get that momentum. So they have Abbott to me is the only shoe-in, and then it all depends on the injuries. The shortstop depth is deep. Trey Turner to me is an all-star unless he hasn't played well. Has he played well, David?
I think he's playing better than he typically does. So.
Okay. So
I think he could be in that all-star race for sure.
Lindor's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, every year.
Every year. Betts is having Betts is Betts. I don't know if he's playing well or not, but he's a Dodger, so it doesn't matter.
He's doing good too. So
Yep. Trey Turner, De La Cruz, Dansby Swanson's good. Really, I think that's it, right? It's those five. And I don't know if you can have 5 all-stars in one position. But it all depends too, because Elly played third base last year at the All-Star game, which kind of made me upset. But I lost sleep over about one night, and then I was fine. And then TJ Friedl, to me, is the other guy who's having a fantastic year. I'd really love to see him get in, but talk about depth at shortstop. The depth for the NL outfield is ridiculous. Your guy, Ronald Acuna Jr., I'm sure will make it. He's off to a crazy start after being out a couple weeks or a month or so. And then just looking at it, Pete Crow Armstrong, where'd that guy come from? I mean, that's my new nemesis. I'm sure that the chat, let us know who else do you think. I mean, I think those are the three obvious. Put it in there and let us know which ones you think will be like the top one, or maybe an NL player here. Like, hey, this is who I want because of X, Y, and Z. We may want, Reds fans, we would like Suarez to get the third base nod over Manny Machado. Eugenio Suarez off to a fantastic start. But Kyle Tucker's had a good year. Like I said, Pete Crow Armstrong. Juan Soto's been terrible, but he's number 4 in voting. Any as a baseball fan, David, any surprises or, man, I really like watching this guy and I'd like to see him make it?
Yeah, I got plenty of those guys.
Give me 3 of them.
As a fan voter, I don't like voting for all the top guys. There's some people that have been in All-Star games every year, and it's just annoying to see them play Shohei Ohtani every time at DH. It's just, I want to give the nod to somebody else. So I've been voting Hunter Goodman at my NL catcher. I like Hunter Goodman from the Rockies. I think he's doing good. He plays catcher and he plays like outfield and DH sometimes too. So he's just versatile, and he's had a very decent season for them. And then I'd rather see Eugenio Suarez over Manny Machado. I don't like Manny Machado. I haven't liked Manny Machado ever since he was an Oriole. So he's never getting a vote from me. But I put Suarez in that vote. I watched him have that, I think it was 3 home runs or 4 home runs against the Braves when they were in Arizona. So in one game. And so I was like, Eugenio Suarez is getting my vote. And then in my outfield, I've been putting James Wood. I love James Wood, young guy. Watched him play when the Nationals came to Atlanta, and so I've been putting James Wood in my lineup. It's funny because most of these guys have been starting on my fantasy team, so watching them perform has been getting my all-star vote in there.
I don't think that helps you, by the way, but
doesn't.
Okay. I see a couple comments in the chat. Any bullpen pieces making it? I don't think from the Reds. Number one, not the name notoriety. Number 2, I mean, really, Pagan or an all-star. I don't think so. I agree. Naptown, I think. Friedel should get in. Won't start. I think there's a chance. I think the last 5 years we've seen so many of these guys. I have a bummed leg or whatever. They don't want to play, or the whole thing where the pitching, and I know we're talking about position players, but things come up and they can't play in it. So there's always the replacements. Middletown's own Kyle Schwarber should make it as DH. Yeah. I mean, he's having a fantastic year. I kind of do as well, shout out Ohtani. I'm not a fan of his contract, so therefore I don't like him. It's kind of just it's just kind of like LeBron, it's like you just kind of get bored of him eventually. Of course, optimistic John Jose Trevino should make it. Trevino was number 8 overall, so absolutely, yeah. Trevino's been fantastic for the Reds. I don't think he's going to be catching Will Smith. Not the Fresh Prince Will Smith, but Will Smith of the Dodgers. TC Thompson, not going to lie, when I hear about the Nationals, I heard about Gore and Abrams. Yeah, those guys are having fantastic years as well. So, David, we're coming out on the end here. Any thoughts about tonight's game as we wrap up? Who are you looking for to have a big, outside of Elly? We talked about him maybe having 5 home runs in a game. Who is your pick to have a good night for the Reds? And then what's your prediction for Abbott?
Yeah, Abbott was going to be my guy to say to have a good night. I picked him up to start tonight in my fantasy league, so I'm hoping he goes exactly what he did last game with the 9 innings, complete game. Probably won't happen, but I'd like to see him pitch well tonight against this Twins lineup. It's not the greatest lineup you've ever seen, but it still has some power in it. So I'm rooting for Abbott tonight. I think he's going to have a good game. He's coming off that 9-inning complete game, so I hope he gets back into that groove and finds it and knows his stuff. And then on the hitting side of things, I'd like to see Will Benson. He's coming off that pinch hit where I think he flew out to right or something, but it scored a run. So we got that RBI. I think Will Benson, he's batting 6th in the lineup tonight behind CES. So I like the Will Benson pick there.
Yeah, you won't find me say a bad thing about Will Benson. I'm hoping Abbott goes 7 strong tonight. Last week, actually, I was on the show and we were joking about Abbott having a Wade Miley type start in Cleveland, where he would go throw a no-hitter. He had a 2-hit complete game shutout. I don't think he's going to go that strong tonight, but I'm not too concerned about the 110 pitches from last game. I think he'll go 6+, hoping for 7. And then tonight's Reds hitter to shine, I'm going with Gavin Lux is going to hit a home run tonight for the Reds, and the Reds win 5-2.
Okay. All right. I could see Gavin Lux hitting a homer in the 2 spot there.
So against a right-handed pitcher, his splits are drastic in that way. So looking forward to watching the Reds again tonight. Missed them last night. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening. If you're in Cincinnati, hopefully you're not too wet. It's been raining all over the country. I'm ready for summer to start to get here, so we can see these balls fly out to the moon deck and out of the ballpark. For David, I'm Alex. Everyone have a great night and go Reds.